Take two squares, one 7 by 7 inches and one 4.5 by 4.5 inches. The small square has obvious right side and wrong side, therefore no need to indicate the side. The 7 by 7 square has no obvious wrong side or right side, therefore indicate the wrong side. On the 7 by 7 inches square, cut out 3.5 by 3.5 inches square from one of the corner. This small cutout square will not be used for this sample. This cutout corner is called inward corner. Draw half-inch seam allowance lines on the wrong side of the inward corner cut edges. Draw a diagonal line from the pivoting point to the inward corner. Mark a dot at 1/8 of an inch from the pivoting point. Clip the inward corner up to the dot marking. At this pivoting point, while stitching, seam allowance will be 1/8 of an inch. Take the small square right side facing up. Place the big square right side facing down, matching the edges of the stitch lines. Pin the layers together to avoid shifting. Then pin at the pivoting point through both the layers. Make sure to check that all the edges are aligned. Start stitching from this end up to the pivoting point. Then, with needle down in the fabric, raise the foot up and move the top layer to the back so that the other marked seam allowance is in the front of the needle. Also, pivot the bottom layer to match the top layer. It looks a bit like a tricky magic trick, but you can do it. So, let's begin with a back stitch. Continue stitching up to the pivoting point. Double check to make sure that the needle is synced exactly at the pivoting point. Raise the presser foot and start doing the magic. Pivot the top layer to the back so that the other side of the seam allowance is in front of the needle. Alongside, move the bottom layer to the front so that both the edges are aligned. Let's do it one more time. Pivot the top layer to the back so that the other side of the seam allowance is in front of the needle. Alongside, move the bottom layer to the front so that both the edges are aligned. After pivoting the fabric, pieces should lay flat. Now continue stitching to the other end and end with the back stitch. Trim all the thread tails. The magic happens by clipping into the inward corner seam allowance. It allows the fabric to open up to complete this seam. From the right side of the fabric, no pleat or pucker should be evident at the corner. Press the seam allowances towards the inward corner. This is how it will look after stitching.